So yesterday, everyone was able to change the hello world text, and everyone has to commit it. I did not check it whether you have committed or not. If I see, this is my location, Git is already up to date. Let's go to TD Learn, and I have, let's see one by one. Git has committed, Kelly has committed, Camille has committed, Tony has committed, DJ has committed. Okay. So everyone was comfortable in changing the hello world text. Now we will move. Now we will move to our React part. Let's open the React part. Okay, let me open my folder and then I'll show you what to do in the React. So if I go to my hello world folder, you will see I have the node modules folder here installed in my system. And if I go to, let's say if I go to Kate folder, I see hello world here also. Now if I want to see, or if I want to run hello world inside the Kate folder, let me go into the hello world of the Kate folder, and here I will see there is no node modules folder here. So if I run npm start in the Kate folder, I won't be able to run it because there is no node modules folder is there. Npm start will run only if we have node modules folder. So what should I do so that I can run npm start on the Kate or any users folder? Can anybody tell me? So if I want to run,
node on your own computer somehow?
what should I do?
Can you use the node folder on your own computer?
So I need node modules in there in my computer. He did not commit it because it was not in the Git one. It does not come inside the Git one, and it is very big, so she cannot really commit it. So how will I get the node modules here? So let's say Kate has done some work. I want to check Kate's work. So I want to run the npm start and see how the page looks for the Kate. So I want to get the node modules folder. So can anybody tell me how to get the node modules folder?
Git, we have to do git pull or something.
Install.
We did it, but since node modules folder is not committed, this node modules folder is not committed. So
git commit, node modules, right? Git commit and for folder name.
You cannot commit node modules because node modules is in GBs, 1 GB, 2 GB. So really, it's not good to commit the node modules.
Can you combine the one that's already on your computer?
That's not the right way. We have to run the npm install.
Close it.
We have to run the npm install inside the Kate folder. If I run npm install, then node modules will automatically created in that one. So once I run npm install, so you will see in some time the node modules will be created. So whenever you don't have node modules folder, you have to run npm install. Just remember that.
Okay.
Run npm install if you don't have node modules folder. So that is the task for the node modules. So if once I run it, you will see node modules folder is created in the Kate Hello World project. So the node modules folder is created by npm install. Let's move further now. This is my Hello World program, and yesterday I told you that node modules folder is created, and then public folder is created, and the source folder is created. All the code which you have to do, all the code which you have to write is inside the source folder. Now the fun part will begin. Let's see how the React works. If I go to app.js, I will tell you basic anatomy of the React, how it's working. Import React from React. So what does this mean? When I say import React, React is some kind of variable or some kind of functionality which is present inside the react.js. There is some file react.js inside my node modules folder, and from that react.js I am taking the functionality called as React. So I am importing the React functionality. There is another file called as React DOM inside somewhere in the node modules. I am taking the React DOM functionality from that React DOM.js. This is my local CSS, and this is the app component which I built in the app.js. Don't worry about this part. This part we will see later. This is the newly introduced by the React people, so there is not enough documentation right now, but once I will see some example, I will show you what it is. Previously it was not there. They added this part just now. So right now, don't worry about this part. Now here it's saying it is calling some render function, React DOM.render. It's calling some render function, and in the render function it is putting the app component. This is the app component which I built in the app.js. How to build the component we will see in some time. So we are taking the app component and putting it here, and it is to be inserted into this element. This element is present in the index.html file called a document.getElement by ID. There will be ID to some element with the name of root, and inside this element we are inserting the app component. So if I go to index.html, you will see there is a div with ID root. Since this ID is root and index.js we are calling document.getElement by ID root, that means I am inserting this app component inside this ID. So what I am doing in the index.js, I am taking the app component and inserting into this ID. What is the ID? Document.getElement by ID root. So I am inserting the app component inside this ID, that is inside this div tag. Is that clear? So tomorrow,
Yes.
if I don't want to put app component, I can also put directly whatever inside the app component. I can put directly here also. So this app component is the basic of our application. It is the entry point of our application. So if I want to write 10 components, it should go from the app component. So app component should be the first component, and all other components will come on inside the app component. So you cannot have 10 components here and you can call 10 components directly here. You cannot do that. You have to create one main component, that is the app component, and you have to insert it inside here, and that will get inserted into the root element in the index.html. Tomorrow, if you want to change this to main, then you have to also change in the index.js to main. So it depends on what you want to put in the ID, and same thing you have to change it here. So I don't want to go into detail of this anatomy right now because it will be unnecessary. We will be learning theory without practical experience. Now let's see app component, how to build the component. So to build the component, the first statement which we have to call, I will run it, I will put it in the notepad. So just remember, so whenever we want to build the component, we have to import this part. So if I want to build any other component, I will say import React component from React. So first line will be like this. Second line will be class, and you have to give the name of the component. So for example, you have to give the name of component. Maybe I can say A1 extends component. So I created a class and name it A1. So my component name is A1, and I extend the component. This component is coming from the react.js, which is somewhere present in the node modules. And after I create this component, if I want to use it somewhere in other file, so I have to export it. So I will say export default A1. So what are the steps to create a component? First line is to import something, then I have to create the class, and I have to give the name of the component. I have to extend it, the component. I have to use extends component. That means there is a parent component. I am extending this parent component. I am creating the base class called as A1. Inside this component, and I will start with the curly bracket. Inside this component, I have to create one function that is called the render function. To create a function in the JavaScript, there are different ways. In the ES6 version, we use this way to create the function inside the class. So inside the class, we'll just name the function name, whatever function name you have to create, and open bracket, close bracket, and start with the curly bracket. And inside this render function, I will call one return statement, and return has open bracket and close bracket. And inside this return one, I will create one div tag. I can create a span tag also or any other tag, but div tag is commonly used. And I will create the div tag. Inside this div tag, I will put my HTML code, for example, hello world. So this is a basic structure of my component. So how will I do? I will say import React component from React. Then I will say class A1 extends component, and I will start with the curly bracket, end with the curly bracket. And then I will export default A1. And inside that component, I will say render, curly bracket start, curly bracket end. Inside the render, I will say return, round bracket start, round bracket close. And then I will put inside the div tag and end with the div tag. Let's say tomorrow you want to put another div tag. Right now it's only one div tag. Let's say you want to put another div tag, and you try to put div tag like this. So React does not allow you to create two div tags like this, because React will give error, and React wants only one div tag to work. You cannot put two div tags. But what if you want to put two div tags or 10 div tags or 100 div tags? So you have to wrap these two div tags inside one main div tag. So I will create one main div tag, and I will close this div tag, and inside this main div tag I can create two div tags. So now I have two div tag inside the one main div tag. So there should be only one element which should wrap inside n number of elements. So you cannot have two elements at the root level. Root level should have only one element ending that element, and inside that you can have multiple div tags starting and div tag ending. So it depends on you how many div tags you want to create inside that main div element. So this is my basic structure of component. So I have currently one component called as app.js, and I will create one more component called as a1.js. And here I will start like this: import React component from React. Then I will start with the class A1 extends component, and inside that I will say render, and inside render I will return it. something. Inside return, I will create div tag. And inside div tag, I will say this is A1 component. And if I want to use this class in another file, I will say I have to use this export default A1. Yes, recording is on. So if I want to export this, if I want to use this file in another page, I have to say export default A1. So here I will say export default A1 semicolon. So once I say this,
default
means, you know, if I want to import this A1 in other file, if I want to use A1 in other file, I can say import A1 from, let's say, a1.js. In other file, I will go and write like this, import A1 from a1.js. Because default is there, I don't need to put the curly bracket here. Let's say tomorrow, if I don't have default, I am exporting without default, then I have to import with curly bracket A1 from a1.js. So if you have multiple classes in this file, class A1, class A2, class A3, and you have to export it all of them. So you can export all the classes, but when you import it, you have to put the curly bracket. So curly bracket will specifically take this A1, or if you have another class A2, it will take A2 or A3 or A4. So if by putting default, I am avoiding this curly bracket in the while importing it. So this is a theory of what is the default means. So you can avoid default also, but it is since it has only one class, so it is better to put default. But if you have multiple classes, then we will not put default. I will show you some examples in the future where I will create multiple classes in particular file, and then I will not use default. So keep that part for the future. Don't worry about this right now. Right now, just think that this is the way to create the component. Also remember, you cannot create the component with a small letter. Tomorrow you think, okay, let's create the component with A1 small letter and A1 here. So this is not allowed. You should always create the component with the capital letters. And all the HTML tag should be the small letter. In HTML, it is optional. You can create the capital div or you can create small div. It's optional. But when you are working with the React, you cannot create capital one for the HTML tag. You should always create HTML tag with a small letter like this. These are the exceptions to the React, that you cannot create capital HTML tag. You cannot create small letter component name. So you have to always create capital letter component name and small letter HTML tag. Now the task is you have to create a1.js in the source folder. And once you are done with these 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 13 lines of the code, let me know, and then I will go further. So just create one component in the source folder. And let me know once you are done with creating this one. Okay, Tony done. Let's see other people. Only one person has done. Okay, 2 done.
Manny?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I'm DJ, and my Adobe bracket is showing expected an identifier and instead saw import a
Okay.
component from React. So what is that? What does that mean?
Let me see what you're saying.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. That's what
Yeah,
it's saying.
this is the
Expected an identifier instead of import. So this is JS lint kind of problem. It 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 has some rules to be defined in that one, and based on that rules, it gives some warning signs. So you have to ignore it. It will create a lot of these things on the JS lint problem. So
okay.
JS lint has to be modified it to suit your necessity, the programming skills. So JS lint has some default coding. They follow some standards, and if you don't follow their standard, they will give this problem. So
Oh,
you have to disable JSLint or just ignore it for now.
oh, okay. So basically, we are doing correct, huh?
Right. Let me see this line, this line, this line, this line. It's correct. This correct, correct. Div tag. This is component. Yeah, it's good. Everything is
Okay.
good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Right. So now, uh, since most of the people have done it, Kate, what happened? You are still doing?
Yeah, I'm done. Done.
Done. Okay. So now, since you have done this, now I will tell you. Now, if I want to use this A1 in my app.js, how to do that. But before showing you how to use this A1 into app.js, since you created A1.js, you have to create A2.js, A3.js, and similarly at home after the class, you will create A2.js and you will create A3.js. And in every file, you have to write it, don't copy paste. So you write it like import, React, component, same thing. Whatever we did, you have to write it. Don't copy and don't paste it and change it to A2. A2, don't do that. You have to do exactly, you have to type it, this part, whole part. And similarly, you have to do it for A3, A4, A5, say till A10, so that you should get hands on the component. So every time we will create new component, these are the steps which we will do. So if you by heart this component, then it will be easy for you to do it whenever we do new component. Though when we do new component, we will do copy paste, but you should remember each and every part of this component, how to create a component. So now let's see how to use A1 component in the app.js. So in the app.js, there are some already present code. Let me clean that code and then I will show you. So let's delete these two lines of the code. These are not required. and this is also not required. I will just put one simple div. Okay, so this is my hello world. So this is my app component, for example. Let's run the npm start and see if I can see the hello world. So this is my local host. Okay, so I'm able to see. Okay, I'm inside Kate folder, I think. I have to work in the my folder actually. Yeah, I'm inside the Kate folder. Let's go to my folder. Okay, cd hello world. So this is my folder, and since I clean up all the code, I will be able to see only the hello world in some time. Okay, I'm able to see hello world here because I deleted all the code and I have only hello world here. Now I want to display this A1. This is a A1 component in the app.js. How to do that? So I will say import A1 from ./A1.js. Since both are in the same folder, we have to call it / and A1.js. If it's in a different folder, then we have to give the relative path based on the file where we have this file. That we will work more when we will have different folders. We will see how to go from one folder to another folder. Right now, since both are in the same folder structure, so we have to call it like import A1 from ./A1.js. Now, after hello world, I will call this component. To use this component, we have to start with the less than sign, component name, and then / greater than sign, like HTML tag. So we have to use the HTML tag, and I put this A1 component inside this my app component by calling less than sign A1 / greater than sign. Now, if I see in the browser, I am getting hello world and I am seeing that this is A1 component. Let's say I have created A2 component also. I want to use A2 component also. So I will do import A2 from ./A2.js, and then I will say below A1 I will call A2 component. So this is the way to call the A1 component. This is the way to call A2 component because both have different name. So let's see now. Now I'm able to call A2 component also. So the next task which you will do, just call the A1 component in the app.js and delete everything except the main div tag, put some hello world, and then put A1 component here. So just do that and let me know once you're done.
We have to do only for the A1, right?
Yeah, A1 only. Okay, is it done? So are you able to see A1 properly?
Yes.
Okay, so that's it for today. You have to just create a homework of A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7, A10 till A10. And once you do, you will be having hands-on the components, and I will check once you're done. I do git pull many times in a day. So I will be able to see who has done that. If you do 10, it will be good for you. If you cannot do 10, do 2, do 3, do 4, whatever time you get, don't copy paste, just do it with the typing it and do it. So uh, once you do this, you will be good in the component creation. So tomorrow what we will do, we will see what will be the next task. It will be building components. So what is exactly component? In React, what are the commands to run it again? Which commands? I don't get it. What you want to run?
Manisha, quick question.
To run the Node project?
To run the Node project.
npm start
And
to run the server, right?
you want to start npm start or npm install? Install is to install.
That's what it was. It was npm start. I was typing npm run. So.
Okay. It's called
Thank
npm
you.
start. Okay. So who was asking some question?
That was Tony.
Tony? No, another person was asking.
No, I was trying to help. npm start.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Samuel here. So after saving the file, I should do the npm start and install. Is that right?
What is the question? I did not get.
No, I want. So now that I added the A1 right to the
Right.
app.js, so I'm unable to see the changes in the localhost. So do I need to do the npm start and?
It should be automatically. npm start is running or no?
Okay.
Once you click npm start, then you have to do changes. So once npm start is running, it will be automatically displayed on the page.
Okay, let me check. Yeah, it is there. Okay.
Is it running?
Yeah, it is running. Yeah.
Okay, show me why it's not then displaying. Take the presenter role. Okay, you're able to display it now. I can see it.
Yeah. So I had some issues. It looks like it failed to compile.
Right.
I saved it as a dat. I missed a slash, I guess.
Yeah, you missed the slash, right?
Oh, it took a while to compile. Okay, I understand. Fine.
Okay. So let me take the presenter role. So, I will explain more about components. What are the components? How to do the components? In short, I will tell you one thing in the component. What exactly is the component? So let's go to the google.com, for example. Let's search something. So let's say if I want to build something this in the React, so maybe I will create one component with this text box of the chase. So this will be one component. Second component maybe will be this navigation. All the navigation will go to another component. Then third component will be to take this, the result, to show this about results. Fourth component will be to show the results. Fifth component will be to show the pagination. Sixth component will be to show the search related item. Seventh component will be to show this right side image kind of thing. So maybe we are dividing our page into different small components, and each component will do its job. The job of this right side is to display this images of the chase. The job of this listing is to show the listing of the result to the user. So we can put each component in its each part so that it can be reusable in anywhere on our website. So that's the fun part of the React, that whatever you want to build in the HTML, just put it in one component and then you can reuse it multiple times. So that's what we will going to do some exercise tomorrow and day after tomorrow about the different components, how to create different components and tie it together. Okay, so that's it for today.